The following data represent the marital status in millions of U.S. residents 18 years of age or older in 1990 and 2006. Draw a side-by-side relative frequency bar graph of the data. Now, when we look at this data, we see that the number of people who've never been married has gone up. The number of people who have been married has also gone up. The number of people who have been widowed has gone up a little bit. And the number of people who have been divorced has also gone up. So it seems like everything has gone up in 2006. The problem with this comparison is, remember that the population in 2006 is a lot larger than it was in 1990. So comparing the frequencies doesn't really give us a fair comparison. We should look at the relative frequency, because let's say that in 1990 only 10% of the marriages ended up in divorce. But if in 2006, 50% of all the marriages end in divorce, this is going to be a huge difference. So whenever you are comparing two data sets, you should use relative frequency, because that's going to show a more fair comparison. Remember that to compute the relative frequency, we need to take the frequency and divide it by the total number of frequencies. So let's add up all the frequencies for 1990 and for 2006. Now let's compute the relative frequencies for 1990. First, we have 40.4, and we will divide that by 181.9. Put this in your calculator and round to 2 decimal places, and we get approximately 0.22. Next, we will have 112.6 divided by 181.9, and we get approximately 0.62. Now let's complete the rest for 1990. Now let's compute the relative frequencies for 2006. First, we have 55.3 divided by 219.7. Rounding to 2 decimal places, we get approximately 0.25. Next, we have 127.7 divided by 219.7, and we get approximately 0.58. Now let's complete the rest of the frequencies. Now that we have the relative frequencies, we can construct the side-by-side bar graph. Now let's draw the side-by-side bar graph. We will have a horizontal axis and a vertical axis. The horizontal axis will be marital status, and the vertical axis will be relative frequency. Now let's place the 4 marital statuses on the horizontal axis. Above each of these categories, we will draw 2 bars, one for 1990 and one for 2006. We need to be able to distinguish between the 2 bars, so I will draw a blue bar for 1990 and a green bar for 2006. Now let's place the values for relative frequency on the vertical axis, and we can go from 0 to 0.7. The relative frequency for never married in 1990 is 0.22. So we will draw a blue bar that goes up to 0.22. The relative frequency for never married in 2006 is 0.25. So we will draw a green bar above never married that goes up to 0.25. The relative frequency for married in 1990 is 0.62. So we will draw a blue bar above married that goes up to 0.62. The relative frequency for married in 2006 is 0.58. So we will draw a green bar above married that goes up to 0.58. Now let's draw the rest of the bars. And this is the side-by-side bar graph.